This is KOB4 Night Beat.
I've never seen the crises as we've seen it now.
Even though you might think it might not affect you directly because you don't have family members or anyone that you know that has an addiction, it's still out there.
Look at most of New Mexico's challenges. Drugs have been holding our state back from significant progress for decades. But there is a new sinister thread weaving through some of our most tight-knit communities. Fentanyl is the new life or death discussion. It's happening at police departments, hospitals, and dinner tables throughout New Mexico. But in this 4 Investigates report, Tessa Mentis learned there is so much we still don't know about this drug, and a new threat could be unraveling all the progress we've made so far.
They're supposed to be the safe havens, the quiet, smaller towns where we embrace what we love about our state and escape what haunts us.
It's a beautiful community. It's really irreplaceable. There's no place like it.
Crime, homelessness, drugs, those are often metro problems. But there's a threat that doesn't care about boundaries, and it's destroying lives before New Mexicans even realize it's there. Mike V. Hill could write the book on New Mexico's drug dilemma. He's already written 7 of them.
I'm halfway done with my 8th.
V. Hill grew up in Espanola, the epitome of northern New Mexico living.
When I was a small kid growing up there, it was kind of like the Mayberry of New Mexico. No crime. I mean, you'd probably get excommunicated by the church for smoking a cigarette on school grounds. And then now, you know, we see a huge drug problem in Espanola.
Seeing the struggles in his hometown led him to a decades-long career with the DEA. He's retired now, but one never really gets out of the business, especially when it's ripping apart your home.
Drug addicts stand a better chance of survival playing Russian roulette than they do using fentanyl, because 6 of the 10 pills that are found here, counterfeit pills that have fentanyl, are deadly.
Fentanyl is 100 times more potent than morphine, 50 times more potent than heroin. According to the CDC, 50 people died from overdoses from June 2021 to June 2022 in Rio Arriba County alone, New Mexico's worst death rate.
I've never seen the crises as we've seen it now.
Another small New Mexico town known for having the most PhDs per capita instead of drugs and crime is Los Alamos. But in just 1 week this April, the city had 6 fentanyl overdoses, 4 of those deadly. 1 of every 3 felony arrests this year involved fentanyl. What makes fentanyl so different from what we've battled before? V. Hill says the cartels see those small towns as untapped territories with vulnerable customers and less competition. Fentanyl is much more accessible to New Mexicans battling poverty because it's cheap to make and to buy. A fentanyl super lab? There's not much to it.
They use metal tubs and wooden paddles or shovels to mix the precursors.
But now there's a new threat with fentanyl. It's called Tranq, the street name for xylazine, an FDA-approved horse tranquilizer. V. Hill says the cartels are lacing fentanyl and other drugs with xylazine, making highs more intense for longer. But the consequences are far worse, and fair warning, disturbing.
They call it a zombie drug because it causes flesh wounds, necrosis, if you will, which causes rotting of human flesh, and that leads to amputations. So this is another deadly cocktail that we're starting to see throughout the United States.
And it doesn't react to Narcan or naloxone?
Correct.
So we'll head out to Hernandez first.
13 years with the Rio Arriba County Sheriff's Department, and Major Lorenzo Aguilar has never seen anything like the fentanyl crisis.
I was speaking with the clerk at a gas station in Jama where people just walk in, transients just walk into the local businesses, which happens to be a speedway, and they go in to use the restroom. Well, all of a sudden there's smoke coming out of the restroom. At one point, the clerk said, I kicked the person out who was in the restroom for 30 minutes. I walked in and I'm faced with a cloud of smoke. So she overdosed. They had to call a medic to actually get her help because she has to get transported to the hospital because she overdosed in doing her job.
These days, remnants of homeless camps and countless property crime calls are keeping deputies busy.
What's unique about this situation is just the fast transition. It's cheaper. And we've seen that the property crimes have increased dramatically as opposed to when heroin was the thing.
Major Aguilar pulled the data. Most of the county's fentanyl overdose deaths were in the small towns of Hernandez and Alcalde. What he also found in those towns were the most property crimes. Seemingly no business or home is safe from the consequences of fentanyl's grip. Not even this part of our state's precious way of life.
We had Good Friday, an event that we traditionally have throughout the state of New Mexico, especially for Chimayo. And a lot of people don't want to participate because they don't want to participate in those traditions knowing that nobody's at home, nobody's there to watch our homes because we're afraid to be broken into.
Fentanyl is not just an addict's problem, it's a New Mexican problem. So what are our leaders doing to fight back? That's what we will explore in our second report from New Mexico's fentanyl front line. Tessa Mentis, KOB4.
And you can watch Tessa's second report from New Mexico's fentanyl frontline this coming Monday. That'll be at 10 o'clock here on the Night Beat. You can also watch tonight's investigation at KOB.com.